Hi and welcome back to Garden of Eve. Today we're going to talk about the most important part of growing indeterminate tomatoes. That is, we need to do some side shooting. It's given lots of different names. We can call it side shooting, you can call it pinching out. I think the Americans call it suckers. Lots of different names, but it is vital that we do this, because if you don't, you're going to get a very, very tall, very spindly vine of luscious green. You might get the odd fruit, the odd tomato, but you might more likely not to get many, if any, tomatoes. So this is a really, really important thing for me to show. We're a little bit overdue because we planted these tomatoes 2-3 weeks ago now, but not to worry. You know, there is still plenty of time, so don't panic. We will get these done today, and I'm going to show you exactly what to do. Right, here we have one of our indeterminate tomato plants. As you can see, it's doing really well. It's got lovely luscious green leaves, and we can just see the beginnings of some flowers here. But, oh, and there's some flowers over here as well, which will become your lovely tomatoes. But on the downside, if we don't control what's growing here, all these other extra shoots that are coming out, as you can see all over it, they are actually going to produce another big long vine, and you will have very little control over what your tomato plant's doing. So we have the main stem, which is the big long stem coming from the ground, and if you just hold your tomato plant upright, you will see the big thick stem, hopefully, that you've got, and then along that stem you will see branches. These are the leaves of the tomato plant, which are again very, very important for the tomato, because that's where they're going to get a lot of their nutrients. And then you've got the top of your stem, which you mustn't do anything with at the moment, and that, as you can see, is producing some flowers. But in between we have got these branches which are coming out. You've got a right angle off your main stem with your branch, and then you have this little bit here, this extra branch, that if we left it there, it's even got a few little flowers developing, it would just grow so big, and you know, the tomato plant could go out of control. So what we need to do is get rid of that, because we want the nutrients to go into the main part of the tomato plant, so that the tomatoes that are growing on it will actually turn big, juicy and ripe. So what we're going to do is, you just need to use your finger and thumb, and you need to pinch in here. I'm just going to go a little bit closer so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Right, so here we are. We've got the stem, we've got the leaf branch. This is a very important part. As you can see, this is called a truss. This is where your tomatoes will develop, again along the main stem. So be very careful as well that you don't pinch this bit out, or you're actually going to be pinching out your future tomatoes. This is the bit that we need to get rid of. So what you do is you use your finger and thumb, and you literally just wiggle it from side to side. Well, that came off in one go, but if it's a little bit tougher, you just wiggle it from side to side. Try not to damage the actual stem of the plant too much, because we don't want viruses and diseases to get in. Now, that's either rubbish, or you could experiment and you could try and put this into a pot with some compost, and believe it or not, that will actually develop roots and turn into another tomato plant. I have done it before, but I think I've got enough tomatoes. But if you want to have a go and see what happens, that's what you need to do. Pop it in. You don't need any rooting compound or anything like that, that hormone rooting compound. Just pop it in some soil and feed it and water it just like you would the rest of the plants, and you'll get another tomato plant. I'm not doing that, but you can. So there we are, we've got rid of that one there. We have another one down here. It's slightly smaller, so again, I'll just come a little bit closer so you can see it. Okay, so we've got this one here. As you can see, there's your stem, there's your branch, and there is this bit in the middle. I have in the past called it a hairy armpit, an upside down hairy armpit, and that's how I explained it to a few friends, and you know who they are out there. It's a good way of describing it. We need to get rid of this hairy bit in the middle. So again, finger and thumb and pinch it out. There you go. And another one further down here. Again, main stem, branch, and an extra bit that we don't need. And one last one, if you can see over here. So again, wiggle side to side, and there you go. Don't worry if you break the odd leaf, that won't do the plant any harm. So there you go, that's how you do it. It's very simple. So now you can see where we took out those. Oh, we've got one more. I missed that one. See, there's actually one right at the very base here. So we're actually going to break that one away as well. Okay, and there's a leaf sitting on the ground, which I don't want either, so we'll break that away as well. Okay, so now you can see your plant's looking a little bit healthier. There's another one there. You have to watch out for these because you will miss some, and then you'll find a great big long one. But you know, don't worry, whenever you see them, pinch them out. But remember, it's only on the indeterminate. Do not do that on your bush tomatoes or you'll end up with no tomatoes. Yeah, that's it really, and hopefully with lots of food now and sunshine, we'll get some more nice juicy tomatoes. So as you can see now, we've got a lovely clean tomato plant. I call it a clean tomato plant, meaning that, you know, we've got rid of all those hairy armpits. It's just a silly way of putting it, but people do remember the silly things about these. You know, when you always remember the silly ads, you always remember silly comments like this. So get rid of them, and all the goodness will go into the bits that we need it to go into. Now, as you can see, these are the bush tomatoes, still not hanging up. My baskets are still sitting on the soil because we're actually going to change the cover of the tunnel this weekend, so I can't actually put them up until we've done that. But as you can see, we have got some really lovely little tomatoes, well, flowers that will become tomatoes growing. They're all looking really healthy, and that will give me all my little cherry tomatoes. The rest of the tomato tunnel is looking very lush and green. Yes, I have got a lot of tomatoes, and yes, I do plant them close together. It isn't advisable. I do put them close together, but you have got the risk of getting things like tomato blight. But I will tell you about that in a blog. There you go. It's as simple as that. It really is simple. I know it might sort of daunt you at the moment. You'll be thinking, oh, you're doing the right thing. You do have to be careful to start with, and you know, when I started growing tomatoes all those years ago, I did used to take off the flower truss and things like that, but you will get the hang of it, and you'll learn as you go along. Gardening is supposed to be fun, so don't panic, just go with it, and you will work it out. The thing to remember is that you've got your main stem, nice thick main stem coming out of the ground, and then along the stem you will have lovely branches, and you will have, hopefully by now, maybe the odd truss of flowers which will become your tomatoes, and then along there you will have, between your main stem and your branch, you will have those extra shoots at that sort of 45-degree angle. You need to pinch those out, because if you don't, they're just going to go wild, and you know, as I say, you'll end up with loads and loads of green leaves and very few tomatoes. Anyway, thank you for watching. There will be lots more information on my blog in the next few days regarding tomatoes, growing tomatoes, and also the problems that can occur with tomatoes. And you know, I've been doing this for years. It does happen. You can get, you know, different types of problems. Most of them are curable. Things like black end rot, tomato blight, magnesium deficiency, those sort of things. But I will show you pictures and blurb on my Facebook, on my blog, and on my Facebook. So if you just go to gardenwithYvonne.wordpress.com, and you'll find lots of information on there. If you are worried about anything or want to ask me questions, please feel free to email me at gardenandfarm.wordpress.com, and hopefully I'll be able to help you. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope the sun is shining where you are, wherever in the world, and look forward to seeing you again.